Live? We are live. We are live. We are live with 10X Automotive Fridays. And I'm Derek Simons with Cardone Group. And we have hijacked Grant's channel again. And we're live on his YouTube account. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Instagram. So wherever you're following us, we hope you're getting to see the stream. Today, we're going to talk about building a buyer profile. Last week, we talked about greeting the customer. This week, we're going to jump in and go to the next step. We're going to figure out what do we need to do to build that buyer profile. So we're going to take a look at a bunch of different elements of that. We're going to run through that and we'll have a little bit of fun. And then at the end of the video, I have a contest that we're going to announce. We're going to give away 2 tickets to our Cardone Institute that is here in sunny Central Florida in April. That is a $4,395 value per attendee. So I think this is a great opportunity for a couple of the managers in the automobile industry out there to get a free ticket to the Cardone Institute. So we'll check that out there at the end. Let's go ahead and grab our 10X Leading Practices Library, and let's take a look at what's going on with our needs assessment, build a buyer profile, that second step in the sales process. No matter what you're doing, what sales process you're doing, you have to go into the needs assessment, building buyer profile. It's one of those things that are required. I've got people behind the camera that are having a good time, and we're all enjoying ourselves here on Friday. And also, just so you know, somebody in some car dealership somewhere gave me the flu. I don't know which one of you guys did it, but somebody did when I was out there visiting it. And it is kicking my rear end today. So I'm pushing through and bringing you the best content that we can. So let's just jump into it. Let's talk about the needs assessment. When we look at what's going on with the needs assessment, there's a couple of things that clients expect, right? So when they come into a dealership, we said it last week, they're not looking to build a friend. They're not looking to build that friendship. They want to get information. They want to make a decision about a buying decision. They want to make that decision about their purchase. So what do we need to know? Well, they expect that the needs assessment will be conversational and not an interrogation. There is nothing worse than a salesperson starting a needs assessment and like, okay, tell me this. And they're just right in the guy's face. Look, it's a conversation. We have to be relaxed. We have to be comfortable. We need to make it a conversation. The dealership personnel will value the customer's time and they'll listen to and understand what the customer's telling us in regards to their next vehicle. We need to make sure that we understand exactly what they're interested in, exactly what they're looking for, and exactly what their needs are in that next vehicle. Also, the customer's expectation is that the appraisal process will include them. One of the biggest complaints that customers have about the sales process is that they weren't included in the sale of their vehicle to the dealership. So let's include them. So that's an expectation that they have. We need to make sure that the appraisal process is fair, that it's including the customer, and that we are able to logically justify the valuation that we place on their trade and even use third-party validation. So making sure that we are using all of that information to the best that we possibly can. Okay, so what's the key elements? Well, we got to create customer involvement, right? We need them involved in the appraisal with us. Absolutely have to get them involved. How are we going to do that? We're going to take a look at that in just a second. We need to make sure that we do this needs assessment before we even begin to start our selection demonstration. It's really hard to demo somebody on a product when you don't even know what they want in that product, right? So make sure that you get it involved before you start that. We need to make sure that we get a complete buyer profile, right? I'm using our handy dandy coach pad here as a prop. But that also is where I'm going to gather my information. It's going to help make sure that I get that complete buyer profile. So when I'm talking to my manager before I go out on that selection demonstration, I'm going to be able to show them where I'm at with that customer and what the information is that we've brought forth. Okay? We need to save the client time by using this up front, by gathering this information about their present vehicle, and that's going to save us 30 minutes worth of time. That's critical because at the end of the process, when I come back from my test drive and that buyer is emotionally charged, I want to be able to slide right into my negotiation process and presenting the information to the customer. So let's take a look at this, okay? So Coach Pad, easy, easy, easy. When you open up the Coach Pad, it's got all the information that we're gonna collect from the customer. It's got their demographic information, it's got their trade-in information, and it allows us to gather that information that we need to know about to help them make that buying decision, right? So let's look at this. What are we trying to accomplish? Well, when I walk up to the customer, and I greet them. Welcome to the dealership. What vehicle can I get you information on today? They say, I'm looking for a current model Watson mobile. And I say, that's an excellent choice. We got a great selection of Watson mobiles. I'll help you find the one that's right for you and your family. And before you leave, I'll get you the price. I'll get you estimates on down payment, monthly payment. We even get you figures on the car you're driving today. How does that sound, Mr. Customer? Well, we talked about this last week. They're going to say, yeah, that's great. That's why I'm here. Now, the logical progression for this is that I ended on figures on your vehicle. So now I can logically transition into gathering information about the customer around the present vehicle. Well, in essence, to save us 30 minutes worth of time, let's go ahead and start with your present vehicle. I'll get the information off of your car. I'll drop that off to a member of our management team, and they can professionally appraise your vehicle while you and I are out looking at your new Watson mobile. Is this your vehicle right here? And it gives me an opening that allows me to slide right into the needs assessment using their present vehicle. So how does that look? What do we need to learn from the customer? Well, we know one thing. We know if we know how the customer purchased their vehicle last time, we'll know how to structure the negotiations and to structure the presentation so that it'll make it easier for them to select the vehicle this time. So remember, if we know how they bought, it's going to give us clues about what we need to do next time, right, into this negotiation. So that's one of the elements of it. We need to know their likes and dislikes about their present vehicle. Every vehicle that you guys are selling, you guys and gals are selling right now, is so technologically advanced, you probably could do a 1-hour product presentation on the car without running out of things to say. That's the reality. There's so much to talk about on these new vehicles. How are we going to find the key elements to talk about that add value to the purchase experience, right? If you go in and you just do a product presentation and you bore them to death with facts and figures, they're not going to get excited. We need to tailor that product presentation to the information that we learn about from the customer by building a buyer profile. So let's take a look at that. I just said to them, before you leave, I'll get you the price, get you estimates on down payment, monthly payment, even figures on the vehicle you're driving today. How's that sound? They say, great. Say, fantastic. To save us 30 minutes worth of time, let's start with your present vehicle. I gathered the information off of that. We'll drop it off a member of our management team. We get it professionally appraised while you and I are selecting your next vehicle. So we walk over to the car and we begin to look at the car. Now, a lot of dealerships talk about the silent walk around, right? We want to be positive when we're looking at the car. We don't want to be negative. This isn't the time that we're beating down the value of the customer's car. They know what's wrong with their car, right? They're here for one reason. They want to get a new car. They don't want to keep this one, right? That's why they're here. But you don't need to beat the car down at this moment in time. So let's be positive when we walk around it. Like your car, love your car. We definitely need cars like this, right? It's a positive statement. It's not going to slow down the negotiations because they know what's wrong with the car. As we walk around the car and we're looking at the car, remember, we're trying to be conversational. Now, we ask 5 money questions with Cardone that are very simple. They're right here on the coach pad to help us remember what they are, but they're very simple. So first question we ask is, hey, when did you buy your car? Right? And they tell us, well, I purchased it, I don't know, it was probably October of 2015. Fantastic. Do you remember what you paid for it? Now, I'm moving around a little bit because I want to simulate that I'm actually walking and looking at the vehicle. This is the time where you can look at the vehicle and you can touch it and you can walk around and you can act like you're really engaging the vehicle. So do you remember what you paid for your vehicle? Oh, you did? Okay, so it was about $20,000. Fantastic. When's your next payment due on the car? It's due on the 15th? Okay, no problem. By the way, how much is that? How much is that payment? And as I'm walking around, again, it's very conversational. I'm not staring at the customer. I'm not staring at my pad. I'm just asking the questions and I'm making notes. Now, I'll tell you something. Studies have shown that when you write down what a customer tells you, they perceive you as being more attentive, right? So make sure that you're writing down this information as they share it with you. So, and how much is that payment on the 15th? Oh, really? It's $400? Wow. How did you get those payments so low, right? As we ask that, that question is what's going to tell us how they purchased their vehicle. They're going to say something like, well, you know, I didn't really think it was that low, but I put $1,000 down when I purchased last time. Now think about that. If they put $1,000 down last time, what's likely that they'll do this time? That's right. They'll probably put money down again. So those 5 money questions tell us a lot about the transaction, right? When did they buy it? How much did they pay? When's their next payment due? How much that payment is? And how to get them so low. So those are all right here on the coach pad and we ask them. Now we have 4 other questions that we ask that really help us get into this buyer profile that allow us to do a little bit better job as far as the demonstration. And they're very simple. What do you like most about your present vehicle, right? It's a simple, open-minded, open-ended question that's going to allow the customer to tell us about their present vehicle. Hey, what did you like most about your present vehicle? Customer responds, well, it's been a great car. Really haven't had any trouble, right? No maintenance problems. I've changed my oil, but I haven't even been in the shop. So we know reliability is important, right? Everybody see where I went with that? That information allows us to start thinking how we're going to present the next vehicle. So what did you like least about your present vehicle? Well, you know, the size. We've got 2 kids now, and really there's not enough room in the vehicle. Okay, so now I know another key element that I need to be presenting on the next vehicle. So what'd you like most? What'd you like least? What's your next vehicle need to do that this one doesn't? Okay, so there's probably a good chance that it'll tie back to what they don't like. Well, we need to be able to fit all 4 of us in there comfortably, but I'd also like to be able to tow my boat. Okay, so now we've got even more information, right? And then, so what's changed most in your life since your last purchase? Well, we had another child, right? And that's the reason why we've got 2 kids now. So those 4 questions, what'd you like most? What'd you like least? What's your next vehicle need to do that this one doesn't? And what's changed most in your life since your last purchase? Simple, easy questions, right? Very conversational. And the whole time I'm looking at the present vehicle. So I'm asking these questions as I'm walking around. And now I'm going to get a little bit more information. One of the things that we found out in doing the sales process throughout the years is that what happens right now is we've actually already began the write-up. Because I'm going to look at the customer and I'm going to simply say, hey, Mr. Customer, could you hand me your registration? I need to write down your VIN number. When they hand me the registration, I'm going to go ahead and capture that VIN number, and I'm going to ask them, by the way, are you guys still at 4241 North John Young Parkway? And they're going to say, no, we actually moved. We're now at 800 Trafalgar Court. And I'm going to say, fantastic. And I'm going to get that down. So now I've captured their VIN number. I've captured their address. And then I'm going to even ask them into the next steps about what's the best method of contact. Should I call you there at the house, or should I reach out to you on your cell phone? And I'm able to gather this information. Now, remember, I've just greeted the customer. I've transitioned to their present vehicle. I've asked them questions, right? I've asked them questions, and I've put us in a position that we're gathering this information conversationally. I'm using my coach pad, and I'm making it very easy for everybody involved, right? It's comfortable, it's not overwhelming, it's very non-confrontational, and it's simple. So I've captured this information, I've gathered my demographic information, I've found out my 5 money questions, my 4 buying process questions, and now I'm ready to go ahead and transition from this step onto the next one. So I want you to think about this. We're gonna back up real quick. So we greet the customer, we use information, right? The last thing that we say in that information before we leave gets you price estimates on down payment, monthly payment, and figures on your trade. So then I transition from that trade. Hey, in order to save us 30 minutes worth of time, let's take a look at your present vehicle. Boom, we go right into that. Now I'm able to take my coach pad and start asking questions that are building a buyer profile. The reality is that the better job I do at finding out the information on the buyer profile, the easier it's going to make my selection demonstration process. It's just that simple. The cars are so technologically advanced, it's going to be hard, right? If you went out there and just started talking about every feature and benefit, you're going to be there for a while. So make sure that you're tailoring your product presentation to those elements. So we're going to talk more about that in a couple of weeks. So for our buyer profile, very simple, conversational. That's the key thing, right? In the old days, the needs assessment in the buyer profile used to be about, are you buying a car today? Right? That's what we wanted to know, right? Hey, if we get figures agreeable, are you buying a car today? Well, we know today that the customer is only visiting between 1.2 and 1.6 dealerships in person. It means if we don't screw it up, we got a really good chance that we're going to sell them a car. So with that in mind, think about what we're trying to do. We're trying to get deeper into the sales process. Last week I said our one litmus test that we use is that we want to make sure that everything we do adds value to the negotiation experience. So the questions that I ask here, are they going to add value in the negotiation experience? The answer is yes, right? Knowing how they bought their last car, those 5 money questions are going to help you and your managers really work a deal that's going to make sense to them logically. And that's incredibly important, right? We're also having the 4 questions about what they like most and what they like least. That's going to put us in a position that it's going to add value to the negotiations because we added value to the experience when we were doing our product presentation, our feature benefit presentation on the new vehicle. So think about it from that standpoint. We're adding a lot of value to the negotiations by doing this logically and conversationally. Now, I said earlier on that we were going to give away 2 tickets to the Cardone Institute. These are for managers only. This is an automobile manager school. So I'm trying to show them to the different cameras we got here because we're on a couple of different things. But the next school is coming up in April. Here's all you have to do. On any of our social media platforms, on Facebook or Instagram, go ahead and go on there and write what you like most about the Cardone Group and the training that you've seen from the Cardone Group. You want to tag the Cardone Group at the Cardone Group. You want to tag your manager, or if you're a manager, you want to just tag at the Cardone Group and tell us what dealership you're with. We're going to randomly pick 2 managers, and we're going to send them out free tickets. It's a 4-day class. It's Monday through Thursday. It's in April. It's that first full week in April, and we would love to have you attend. So this week, we're talking about the needs assessment, the buyer profile. A lot of information here that we can gather. A lot of stuff that we can do in regards to getting our attitude right, too, as far as talking to the customer. Make sure that your game face is on, that you're ready, that you're excited about being there. We talked about it last week. That customer that you're about to engage, that's your opportunity to sell a car. So make sure that you're ready when you get out there, greet them positively, use information to get deeper in the process, and logically ask them questions that are going to put you in a position to be successful with your product presentation and your negotiations. I'm Derek Simons, and with the Cardone Group, this has been your Automotive Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you next Friday at 2 p.m. Thanks, everybody.